Are young people not entitled to the sweat of their brow? No, says New York, it belongs to the stockholders. No, says Washington, it belongs to the government. And Portland says, maybe.
I think Portland maybe attracts people who like to work at nonprofits, who are just looking to kind of make a difference in the world and work for a specific cause.
I'm not too sure that I want to work in the nonprofit sector, and I think that there are ways to work in the private sector where you can have just as much of an impact, if not more, because money is not as much of an issue.
We've really struggled with raising the amount of money we did before the recession.
Nonprofits are just kind of tasked with filling in the gaps of the shortcomings from governmental programs. Those gaps are always way bigger than we anticipate, I feel like.
I would like to actually see the nonprofit sector sink. I mean, I'm a pretty raging liberal, and I would like to see government take on a bigger role, because I think it can. Nonprofits fill a hole that no one else could, kind of being a third party, like being the uninterested, hey, we just want to solve this one issue, we just want to do this good stuff.
We'll just start at the beginning again?
Yes, please.
All right, so SOLVE was started in 1969 by Governor Tom McCall, who's really famous for passing the beach bill in Oregon, which made all the beaches public so they couldn't be privatized. And so everyone in Oregon can enjoy them, and also for passing the first bottle bill in the country. The mission of SOLVE is bringing Oregonians together to improve the environment and build a legacy of stewardship. Total at SOLVE, I've been here about 5 years.
SOLVE was definitely my first nonprofit experience. I wasn't really familiar with nonprofits before that, so I did that for 2 years. I had kind of decided that the part of the job that I liked the best was working with students. So I decided to go and get my master's of teaching and go into education.
Are you coming?
No, I'll see you at the brewery.
Well, together we've been living in Portland since 2007, so like 4.5 years.
Wow.
4.5 years.
So my first real job in Portland, I had another small job for a few months. Does that work?
That works.
Can even look like it was meant to be there. Was working at the nonprofit SOLVE. I worked there for 3 years until this year. What brought me there was I was looking for a job at a nonprofit that did environmental work. I also knew 2 people who worked there. You don't care about full names or anything, do you? Okay. I could spell it if you want.
I started volunteering at SOLVE also, which is where I ended up finding a full-time job after about 9 months at Starbucks. And I worked there for about 4 years.
I am a full-time Jesuit volunteer with SOLVE. I had developed quite a strong passion for sustainability. Saw the effects of nature on people and how therapeutic it was.
The environment is very important to me. It's important to me because, not because I actually value it over people or anything like that, but because it's something that I think hasn't had the attention it deserves throughout history, and that's why it's important to me.
It is important because it is helping people. I think some people think it's totally detached, but it's not. It's completely intertwined. We all still live in the greater world, and we need to take care of it, or else we're screwed, basically.
Yeah, I see a lot of really great movements coming from nonprofits, and I think with so many young people in our generation caring about the environment and caring about different social issues, the nonprofits are a great outlet to really make that change. I would just hope that they continue to get the funding they need.
Being able to fund projects is always difficult. You know, there's just not a lot of money out there, and especially nowadays, to get the resources to do a really, really good job on one natural area was sometimes really difficult.
In the case of the nonprofit sector and Solve particularly, I think there's a little bit of turfiness over volunteers. And I think it's because there's a perceived scarcity of volunteers, and publicity too, for sure. If Solve was involved in something and we were partnering with someone, it was always a delicate balance to try and figure out who got all the credit. Then also money, of course. You know, I mean, all the nonprofits were trying to get the money out of the same foundations, out of the same big companies, same high-level donors. You know, Oregon is a fairly small state and Portland is a fairly small city, and there's a lot of people wanting to do good work and not a lot of people that can fund that work necessarily. So I think that just creates a little bit of that turfiness.
And it can be hard to work with volunteers, so yeah.
I think you need to be really passionate about what you're doing. Sometimes you kind of need all hands on deck.
At my nonprofit last year, we were a 2-person office, and we could have been easily a 5 or 6-person office.
To keep doing that, you need to be pretty internally motivated and motivated by the cause that you're working for. There might have been more jobs back in 2007, and now with people just not having as much money, there are just fewer jobs because nonprofits have had to cut staff.
Right off the bat, when I was hired, a couple of weeks into the job, they were hiring for a new position, and something like 53 people applied for that job. And it was just incredible to see how many people are applying for this one small little job.
You know, there's that saying from the show Portlandia that Portland is the place that young people go to retire. And I think there's a lot of truth to that, and it's unfortunate. And I don't think they necessarily come to Portland looking to retire, although they might, but they are sort of forced into retirement because there are no jobs.
It is just kind of a rough time in our economy that we do have young, passionate people, and it's hard for them to find jobs right now.
What's your feeling on the economy?
I've joked a few times before that I've worked for nonprofits pretty much my whole professional life so far, and yet I don't really believe in nonprofits. Right now there are issues around, like, you know, people I know that can't make enough money in the nonprofit world to raise a family, and so if that's a choice they're going to make, then they, you know, they can't stay in this world. And so, I mean, that's definitely an issue, and I don't see a solution to that anytime soon.
I think everyone knows this, that nonprofits don't pay as much as, you know, if you were to go into some lucrative business or something like that.
One of the reasons why I left the nonprofit sector is because I felt like my earning potential had maxed out at $35,000 and wasn't gonna continue.
Yeah, it's incredible. We have people at our nonprofit working easily 60 to 70 hours a week on really small salaries.
Just got married over the summer. I don't really want to live on $35,000 for the rest of my life.
It's just really obvious that people their heart and soul has been in this work, whether or not they get paid well or not. Yeah.
okay, if we only have government, that's some form of like super socialism, communism, whatever. If we only have private sector, that's like almost just chaos.
If we only have nonprofits, I think we can't get enough done, and everything would be on the super local level.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we would have as much collaboration on a large scale.
Right. I do think there's also a balance between the work that a nonprofit can do and the work that government agencies can do, and that sustainable, responsible businesses can do. So I don't think it's all on the nonprofit world to make things better.
So it really is a family then.
I think it can be. I think it can work. Yeah.
But not always, obviously.
Yeah.
We are positive, damn.
I know. I'm so happy.
You might still feel a thing after all this. Chances are looking good. They're telling me it's not such a wild notion. I never would have.
It's intimidating for sure, and not being defeated. So I'm going to do my best in keeping those kind of passions alive.
Do you have a solve quote?
A solve quote, like on my website?
On the website.
I do. Whether I have that memorized is up in the air. It's by Rachel Carson, one of my all-time favorite people. It has something to do with just being in tune and aware of the rises and falls, I guess, of nature, because those are kind of the places to take refuge, the places to gain new hope and things. Yeah.
Would you apply the same rises and falls that of the economy?
I don't know if I find as much hope there, but then you just go for a hike and forget about it.
I do feel positive about the future. You know, I also sometimes get really frustrated about where we're at and could see, you know, I feel like there is a lot of potential for Gen Y stepping up and creating a more positive future for everybody, or not, and we'll just see what happens, I guess. All right. Yeah.